Hmm. What if I told you this war is not really about? What if I told you this war is not really about Iran? It's about really about the United States either. What are you watching right now is a battle over control, control of energy, control of trade, control of future global system, and the real decisions. They're not always visible. So stay till the end because the real balance of power in this war is not what you expect. Welcome to the World Workstation. Let's start the video. Let's start what everyone is talking about. The statement: the entire country of Iran could be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. A powerful warning, almost unbelievable. But then another statement followed. Iran is not weak. They are capable of fighters, fire, very tough people. This enemy is strong. Now think about that carefully. How can both be true? A total distraction in a strong, resilient enemy. This is not a contradiction. This is a strategy. Because in the modern conflict, words are weapons, and one message creates fear, the other creates respect. Together, they create pressure, and pressure forces decision. Now, here, the most people what are missing. Um, what if everything you are hearing about this war is only a half truth? Because while the world is focused on threats, something bigger is happening behind the scenes. Iran is reportedly claimed it is still has around 15,000 miles missiles and over 40,000 drones in its arsenal. Even after continuous strikes, the level of capability still exists, which means this war is far from over. Now let's step out the battlefield from a moment and look at the system behind it. This is where the global allied decision makers comes in, not secret societies, not myths, but real centers of power. Governments at the highest level, military command structures, energy corporations controlling oil flow, financial institutions controlling money movement. These are the players most powerful, and most people don't see it, and they don't think like the public. They don't ask who is right. They don't ask who wins the war. They ask one question: how do we control the outcome? Because for them, war is not the destruction; it is a tool of influence. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth: and do these decision makers want this war to end immediately? No, not until their objectives are met. Because mm, tensions creates opportunity, higher oil prices create greater control over supply chains, more leverages over countries. But at the same time, do they want a full-scale war? Also, no. Uh, because a chaos breaks control and more control is everything. So, what is the perfect scenario for them? Control and stability, a situation where conflict exists but remains limited, where pressure increases but the systems don't collapse, where fear exists but control remains. And this that is exactly what we are witnessing right now. Now, let's go back to the battlefield. The United States and its allies have caused real damage. Iran's infrastructure has been hit, military systems are targeted, but not eliminated because Iran is not fighting a conventional war. It is using underground systems, hidden launch sites, distributor drone networks, and this is a war designed to survive pressure. And from Iran's perspective, the message is clear: we are not defeated. Iran doesn't need to win quickly, it's only need to survive and increase the cost of conflict. Now look at the United States. Its goal is not just war, its goal is compliance. The control the Strait of Hormuz, stabilize the global trade, maintain dominance. But here's the reality. Even the military power, this is not an easy outcome because this is not just a military conflict, it is a system level conflict. Now let's come to the most dangerous possibility. What if control is lost? If the Strait of Hormuz is fully disrupted, oil dis- oil supply drops instantly, prices surge globally, and economies begin to shake. Fuel becomes expensive, transport slows, cost rises everywhere, and this becomes a global crisis. But the biggest risk is not war; it is miscalculation. One wrong move, one wrong decision, and the entire system destabilizes. Now let's think strategically. If you were Iran, you don't fight directly. You control pressure points. You keep the Hormuz unstable but not fully closed. It's stretch the conflict. Now, if you were the United States, you don't rush into the destruction. You apply controlled pressure, military, economic, and political, because you are not, and your goal is not a destruction, and the United States of goal is to control. Now let's answer the biggest question: who actually wins? If this becomes a direct war, the United States has the advantage, but this is not just about the power, it is about endurance. Iran does not need to win, it only needs to serve and increase the cost. So here is the real answer. There is no clear winner, only shifting the power, only changing the control. Because this is not a war of land, it is a war of systems, systems of energy, systems of trade, systems of influence. And behind all of this are our decision makers shaping outcomes quietly, not by fighting directly, but by controlling the environment of the conflict. So, the real question is not who wins the war, the real question is who controls and what comes next. Because what you are watching right now is not just a conflict, it's a transformation, a shift in global power, and the outcome will define the future. So, tell me, do you think the war is being fought on the surface or controlled behind the scenes? Subscribe to World Workstation, because here we don't just follow the war, we decode the. Mention your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching the video.